All right, first question on page 21. Gavin, would you read the directions, please?
I am.
Gavin, read the directions, please.
My pages here. The tortoise and the hare are having a race. After the hare runs 16 miles, the tortoise has only ran 4 miles. The relationship between the distance x the tortoise runs in miles for every y mile that the hare runs. Yeah. The hare, every mile the hare runs is y equals 4x. Graph this relationship.
All right, so it gives you 1 point. Technically, you could just connect that with the origin and you would be just fine, right? We could put some more dots on there. If the tortoise runs 1, so if I plug in 1 here, 4 times 1 is, of course, 4. Plug in 2, 4 times 2 is 8, and that should be enough dots there to connect. But it is a linear relationship. Slope is 4, up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1. Pretty simple. Question number 2. Complete the table and then describe the scales you could use to draw a grid. So 20 centimeters is 28 newtons. The question is, what am I multiplying 20 by to get 28? That is what you need to figure out. Well, one way to do that is just take 28 divided by 20, all right? 28 divided by 20. 1.4. That means this way is 1.4. This way would be divided by 1.4. And again, all I did was take this number divided by this one. So 55 times 1.4 would be 77. 100 times 1.4 would be 140. And this would be 1.4. Okay, describe the scales. Most of the time, whatever's first will be your x. All right, so if I'm going to describe my scales, my x down here would be in centimeters. I would probably go 1 to 100 would be my scale if I'm going to plot this. Maybe by tens, maybe by fives, depending on how accurate you want to be. I'll go by tens. Describe my axes. This way then would be newtons. What do you think is a good range to go up to in the y side, the newton side here? What do you think? 140? Maybe go a little further, maybe 150. By tens? Again, that would be fine. So just as described. Question 3. Find a sequence of rotations, reflections, translations, dilations to show that they are similar. Be specific and give the amount and direction, a line of reflection, the center and the angle of rotation, and the center and scale factor. That's a lot of things it's asking us. Okay, so obviously we're going from big to small, from here to this guy. So what are some things that's happened? How do I get from big to small? Sienna, go ahead.
It was rotated.
Okay. Rotated which way? And around what?
Counterclockwise and around center A.
Okay. Yeah, that would be fine. One thing that maybe needs to be done is a reflection as well, because if you just rotate, D is going to be on this side, and notice that D is right here. So at some point you're going to have to reflect it then as well.
I was saying rotate as well.
You said rotate instead of reflect? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I said rotate around for the small one.
Okay. And how much smaller is it? Anybody know?
3.
2 centimeters. 6 centimeters. So scale factor is a third. 3 if you're going small to big, a third if you're going big to small. I would just rotate it just a tad this direction and then reflect it across probably this line right here. So how many spots would I have to rotate it? I would probably rotate counterclockwise 3 spots and then reflect it across that line. So rotate counterclockwise. Could measure that angle, I'm not very concerned with that. Rotate counterclockwise, that would be step 1. Step 2, reflect across this line, then it'll shift over and then make it a third of the size. It doesn't have to be in that order, but I think that's enough information there with no issues. And the last one, I found 2 figures that are congruent, so they cannot be similar. Diego said, no, they are similar. The scale factor is 1. Who is correct? Use the definition of similarity to explain your answer. So the question is, can you have a scale factor of 1? If I have a rectangle and it's 2 by 4 and I make it a scale factor of 1, take everything times 1, I will get the exact same thing. So are those congruent and similar? Should be, even though my drawing's not very good. They should be, because they're the exact same size and the exact same shape. So I would say, Diego, scale factor of 1 just means their shape doesn't change. They are similar and they are congruent.